We should be live. Welcome to the pre-show show.
Nice. Everyone's very tired. I can see it.
I'm not used to waking up at 9, so
It's a rough life.
I'm not tired.
You're not tired. That's true. That's
tired.
true.
I'm all right.
You're never tired.
I am tired sometimes, but not at 6 o'clock.
I'm tired at 6 o'clock all the time. I don't know what you mean. I get home from work sometimes at like 5:30 or 6, and I'm just like, I can't function. I need bed now. Stat.
Oh, that never happens to me. I'm always
Really?
pretty hyped to get home. Yeah.
Uh,
Have you been in the office during lockdown, Greg?
yeah. Our office never closed proper. Some people had the ability to work from home, and they did, but most of us had to. It's not that we had to. I feel really weird about the whole working from home thing because there's like a lot of people in the United States that don't have a job, right? Like there are a lot of people who can't work. Maybe they can a little bit more now. It's opening up some, but like they just didn't have the opportunity to work, and I did. Like I had a steady paycheck that was there for me the entire time. But there's also a part of me that was like, God, I could have used a 2-month vacation.
Yeah, no,
But no, we stayed open. We had a weird role in the pandemic because we did money things, right? So when the government hands out money, they don't just send you a check, they do it through your taxes. And so we were basically filing returns for people. We got guidance that said if they owe money, we don't care, but if they're getting a refund, we want that tax return done. And so we were trying to, around April when it was starting, we were trying to find refund people to do. And then when they handed out all the loans and stuff, we were the ones on top of that, right? Well, on top of it as best as you can. The government kept writing new rules and revising their rules and re-revising and getting conflicting guidance from the rules. It was a very stressful time for some of our CPAs. The CPAs in the office were having a real hard time with that. But we did a bunch of that, and then July 15th just passed, and that was the extended due dates from the relief. And so then we had kind of a mini like tax crunch for that. So we've actually been really busy, and I've been in and out of the office a little bit because I've been sick the last couple of months, and that made it worse.
Yeah,
How are you feeling now? Are you like better?
Yeah, a lot better actually. I was just telling Neal, like I'm feeling a lot better actually. Like I've got a couple of weeks of prednisone in me, and that flushes you out real good. Prednisone does good shit. And yeah, I came back clean from everything, right? They tested me for COVID twice. I don't have that. They did a bunch of screening for my organs, right? They did like EKGs and some other heart screening, and they did like 4 rounds of blood work. For the most part, it seems like I'm okay. Just glad to be feeling better. Yeah.
It's funny when Americans always talk about drug names like prednisone. Like that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me either. But,
prednisone is a steroid essentially that suppresses your immune system and inflammation. It essentially it's given to people like me who can't fucking breathe to flush out the inflammation in your body.
So you had like heightened inflammation values, but they couldn't figure out where they came from exactly?
Yeah, well, it essentially boiled down to I had 2 big symptoms. I had really strong chest pains intermittently that would come and like fuck my day up.
Oh, lovely.
And,
that's great. Chest pains.
And I couldn't catch my breath, just like really short of breath. Like I would try to breathe, but I'd get like not a full breath of air. It's kind of like having an asthma attack all the time. And prednisone basically was there to be like, okay, you're an asthmatic and you definitely have like a bunch of wheezing, so whatever is going on is like part of that, right? So they sent you prednisone to like flush out the inflammation so I can breathe. Once I started breathing, it felt a lot better. Yeah. seem
Which
to
is
have a
pretty
handle
important.
on the chest pain too. So I'm doing a lot better. I was pretty stressed out last month, a couple of weeks back, or like 2-ish weeks ago. I was feeling pretty rough because I had a lot of stuff at work and I was really feeling bad. Like you could tell if you look at like very few people follow my stream, but if you did, I was like streaming pretty regularly even though I felt bad, and then I suddenly just like streamed 4 times over 3 weeks. I just like didn't have enough energy for anything other than feeling terrible, but doing better, so feels good.
That's good.
To hear it.
Thank you. Yeah.
How have you been up to? What have you been up to, Nick?
Well, I'll tell you what I've been doing, right? So, back in the day, right? You remember like LucasArts, like Secret of Monkey Island and all that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Big fan.
So I used to be well into that when I was a kid. And you know, like when you're a kid, you can just do the same shit for hours. And obviously, this was before the internet as well, so you couldn't just look up the solution. Like I used to just play these games, literally for years. It probably took me about 6 years to complete the Secret of Monkey Island, and I just play it over and over again, banging my head against the brick wall. And there's another one called The Dig, which was like a sci-fi thing that was like co-written by Steven Spielberg. That was really good. That was another one that I played for like 6 years. So I noticed I had The Dig in my Steam account. So the other night, like I just turned it on. I finished it in like 5 hours. So I've been playing through some of the old LucasArts games. I've done Monkey Island 1 and 2, The Dig, yeah, playing Total War still. Like that's really good. Work's been the same as always, really, just working from home. That's nice. Got my hair cut. Went out to a restaurant yesterday, which was nice for the first time.
Oh, hold up. Tell me about the restaurant because I saw the tweet. I'm
Oh, yeah.
intrigued. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm a restaurant person. I want to hear everything about the food.
So it's a good one, actually. It's called Six by Nico, and it's kind of like a tasting menu, but they don't do like an a la carte, so they only do like a 6-course tasting menu. So everyone's ordering the same thing. So I think that helps like bring the costs down. So it's only like £28 for the tasting menu, and then £26 for the wine pairing.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, and it was really good.
For that kind of menu. Holy
And it
shit.
changes every month. So there's like a different theme every month. So this month it was.
You can come back if it's good.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a British chip shop. So there was like one course that was like a deconstructed steak pie. I mean, I guess I don't know how often you guys go to like an English chip shop. But there was like a potato.
I don't know about you,
croquette.
but English chip shop all the time. Just they're everywhere around here. You can't throw a stone without finding one.
I mean, I'm calling it an English chip. It's called a chippy, is what it's actually called.
Yes.
I call it an English chip shop for the sake of the Americans watching. So
I used to live in England for a few months, so I can relate. It's fine. This is a talk between the European and the still a European, so.
Still European, maybe not part of the European Union. The civilized folk. Yeah, so every course was like a sort of fancy version of a different thing that you might get from a chippy. It was really good. And for the price of it, the wine was nice. It wasn't very well socially distanced. But it was fun though. It was nice to be back out. It was almost like cathartic to be back in like doing something normal again. It was my first time being back in the city, which is where my office is, but I've obviously been in the office since February. I haven't been in the city for months, so yeah, it's quite nice. It's good.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very nice.
that's what I've been up to.
What about you, Mr. Sean?
I haven't really been doing much of anything. My project at work got sent off to another company, so I've just been kind of sitting around for a few weeks because I have nothing to do.
Oh.
And that's why I'm not used to waking up in the morning because I had a pretty good like routine of waking up early. I'd gotten used to like being like a real adult, and then they took me off my project. And within 2 days, I was staying up till like 4 or 5 in the morning. It's great, but yeah. I don't have any work functions that I need to fulfill until something like August 1st now, so I'm just kind of.
So do you not even have to like sign on? You can kind of just like that is like don't.
I literally cannot sign on. I had to turn in my laptop.
Wow! Oh shit! That's
Yeah.
You're still getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mate.
I'm salaried, so.
Best job ever.
Yeah, I check my email while they look for a new project for me, and they found one, but that doesn't start until August, so I'm just kind of
But you got a new project, so that's good. You know?
Yeah, they're not gonna fire me. That's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's
good.
been good. I've just been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition, and then
very nice.
Yeah. Oh, and also I'm getting back into the swing of things with Final Fantasy 14 because I've got like 12 friends now who have started playing it.
Do you ever get out of the swing? Because I feel like every week.
Yeah, I have not played much for like probably the past 2 months. Like I think for the past 2-ish months, it was mostly just Final Fantasy Friday with Greg that I was doing.
Okay. I have no idea what things you do in Final Fantasy once you've leveled up. Are there like scheduled raid and resets and that kind of stuff, or?
There are. I don't really do the end game raiding anymore because I don't know. I don't have like a regular group to play with, and doing pugs through Savage is just it drains your life away. It's upsetting. So I just kind of go around and do other stuff.
He follows me around in a chair and listens to me rant at him.
I mean, sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, that's about it. Not a whole lot going on here. I'm also, studying Linux stuff. But that's, I live a very interesting life. I don't leave the house. I honestly like that's not much has really changed in the past 12 months. I'm still, still doing the whole social recluse thing. It works.
Yeah. Well, what about you then, Faye? What have you been up to?
In class when you know that you're finally up, but you don't really have anything to say, that's kind of my moment.
Easy
not
life?
Much.
Quiet life?
Easy life. Yes, just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's easy, Neal. No. I was invited to my neighbor's birthday party yesterday when I was outside gardening because she turned, I keep saying 60, but she turned 50. So she leaned over across the wall and she was like, if it's going to get a little bit loud. And I was just mortified because she's like next door with all her, lady friends and they're just having a fucking party. And I'm just like...
And she's 50.
Yeah, and she was like, you want to come over and like have a drink or something? And I'm like, okay, first of all, in my head, I go, first of all, this is the most irresponsible thing I've heard of all day. Secondly, no, you're trying to kill me as well? No, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. I was like, I just looked at it. I was just like, no.
Oh.
No.
Not going to celebrate your neighbor's birthday?
No.
Oh, look at that look. That is the look of shame. Shaming others.
And then she continued celebrating until about... So she said they would keep it, limited, and they wouldn't be as loud this time because apparently the neighbors complained last time. So at around, I think 2:30, I heard my other neighbor who lives over there and who's like a rampant alcoholic yell out as loud as he could, "Shut the fuck up!" over to my other neighbor who was having the birthday party because they were singing karaoke at this point. Like all the 40 to 50-year-old ladies over there just blasting karaoke.
Is this when they didn't close the window?
No, that's my other neighbor. She's upstairs. I wonder if she was invited. I don't think she was, but she would fit right in with them. I don't know what's going on with the singing. Everybody is very talented. My other neighbor over there, she's really young. She plays the violin. She's the only one I support because, gotta practice, gotta get good. I believe in that. Somebody else is playing a trumpet over there. Don't support that person. Don't know who that is, but that person, no. But the violin girl, she can stay. But the karaoke people, I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not living in the countryside. They're like, we live very clustered, close together. So we gotta try to get along. So just close the window. Okay, is all I'm asking for. You can play your instruments, but just close the fucking window or the balcony. And just door. Just don't do it outside. Just be respectful. Nobody wants to hear that shit. So.
I'm interested in how you say "shut the fuck up" in German.
Well, in that case, it was a pretty loud "Könnt ihr mal die Fresse halten," which means as much as can you hold your mouth shut in a kind of derogatory way. So
Actually sounds more friendly than I was expecting.
Yeah, because I said it in a friendly way. I can say it in a not so friendly way, but you know.
It's very interesting to actually meet and listen to German people talk, because I was introduced to German through a history professor who was like slightly German, and he had a weird sense of humor about it. Like
how
he was like
slightly German.
He was like a quarter
Like
or half
quarter?
German. Like his mother's side was from Germany and his father's side was from like some other European country, and then he came to America and taught history. I don't know. Anyway, he always told me that, and everyone who would listen to him in the class, that the only way to ever speak German is to just yell it as loudly and angrily as possible. And that's how he introduced all of our terms to us. And he would like constantly, and so whenever I speak to other Germans, it's so like different from how I was introduced to most of what I know of it. It's very funny.
Well, it depends how much you want to learn, right? If you just want to shout some swear words, then you can do it angrily. If you're trying to make a polite, remark or introduce yourself, probably shouldn't yell at one. Yeah, it's a little intimidating. So.
I've actually found every German that I've met to be very polite and friendly.
I'm sure they are. It's just that was my introduction to it.
No, sure. I mean, despite what you might think if you grew up in England, I mean, Germans don't have the best rep over here. No,
Oh, I wonder why that is. Tell us all about that, Nick. How about that one? Hey.
It's too early in the call to go.
Oh, I feel like I'm a little bit, I think I'm in the
14
minority
minutes,
here.
guys. 14 minutes.
I haven't said it.
It's not even my fault.
I think 4 versus 1 is also kind of unfair to go on about this. So.
Dude,
Yeah.
3 on
What
2,
world?
Faye, I'd have your back.
Oh, you'd have my
sorry.
back. All right, then. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but no.
Oh, I mean, at this point, Americans and Germans are in it together. We're gonna be the shame of the world for the next 100 years, equally.
Don't let the Germans in with you. Neal.
Yeah, why are the hold on? Yeah, why are the Germans our like pals in this?
I don't know.
Oh, it's
have you
just-
seen
we
what
are
the United
still-
States has been doing internationally for the last?
Yeah, we're still in our
years?
redemption mode.
No, I know why
it's
the
gonna
United
take a while.
States are in trouble. I don't know why
Oh.
Germany is.
I see.
It's because we're still in trouble for a long time.
Oh, it's
That's
just
how it is.
the like black mark forever. I see.
Still
Oh, yeah.
grounded. Yeah.
I mean, no,
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
go away.
I,
The Mongolians are no longer like, oh my god, how dare they had destroyed the Middle East and China, right? It only takes.
I don't know. Ask
You
the
say that,
Mongolians.
and yet they
Yeah.
still come up a lot,
feel
don't
like,
they?
Yeah, but it's not so much like they were terrible. It's more like they were so cool. They conquered everything. And it's not like genocide, families destroyed, slavery, abuse, rape, pillage. It's like their armies were so great. They made the Silk Road. They created so much trade. It's like totally flipped.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that in the world where we now have feds disappearing people off the streets of Portland, secret police style, and also setting up sniper nests on the roofs of public buildings, I'm not the first one to reference fascism in this call. Like that's amazing.
Well, but back to being polite. Actually, I had one thing when I lived in England that I noticed very much, and it's that English people have a very wide personal space. So if you approach an English person, right, and you approach them, and it's like closer than, let's say, 2 meters 50. I have no idea how much that is in feet. You calculate that. But if you approach them like that, they're gonna apologize. So there's a certain radius of apologizing around British people. So you approach them, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then I'm standing there for a second, being confused because I'm not sure what happened. But apparently they're
the thing
worried.
is, you'll say sorry. You're not really apologizing. Like I think sorry is kind of like a catch-all term for.
Well,
like, if you-
hello, how's it going? Have a nice day.
No, like if you like, say you're walking down the street and somebody has to move out of your way, you might apologize. They might even apologize.
Yeah, but that's something we might do as well. But for them, it's like for example, there's a hallway, right? And you're both approaching each other on the hallway, but you can't the distance at which British people will stop to each other is much bigger than other people will, right?
Yeah,
so there's
maybe.
a lot of apologizing, or at least a lot of saying sorry going on, right? It can be a little bit, can be a little bit draining
Unless you're on the
sometimes.
tube.
But
I think
Have
an
you-
interesting thing to do
well.
in England is to purposely bump into people on the street and see how many of them apologize to you. Because a lot of people will.
In my experience, that holds true until they've had a few drinks, and then their personal space bubble gets really close, like far closer than Americans after a few drinks.
maybe
Like,
it just
they'll walk
shrinks
right up
quicker.
next to you and be like, "Hey, do you think we can go to another pub?" And it's like way too close.
You're like, oh, please no. Yeah, I remember one guy who walked past me and he was like doing this thing where he apologized and he said, "Oh, sorry, love," and I was just inside dying. Like, I don't know. They do a lot of some of them, not all of them, but some of
Is
them
it
do a
the
lot of.
informality of it that is too much.
Yeah, probably. We don't use cutesy names for like other people in German as much, I think, as it is not as much as other nationalities do.
That's a bit of a weird debate that between like calling women love, and old women will call men love as well. Like, so Fran takes that to be like quite a sexist thing to be, like, you know, some like random bloke will just call her love, whereas it's kind of like a friendly catch-all term. It's a bit like mate. I suppose it is a little bit sexist because you only really ever say it to the opposite gender. But I can see how you might take it the wrong way.
It's not. The intention isn't wrong, right? I think in most cases the
Yeah.
intention is not. I'm trying to rile you up or anything. But it's for me, it's an embarrassing situation because suddenly you're becoming very familiar with me, and I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, who the fuck,
Yeah.
right? And suddenly there's this. I'm embarrassed in that moment. I'm a tiny bit embarrassed, not like terribly, but I go like, "Whoop," and I'm actually gonna blush at this. I'm like, "Whoop," you know, that's me, and then I'm feeling uncomfortable for like a split second just because you used the wrong word. So that can be a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's maybe more of an older generational thing. Like, I don't think many people of our
That dude
generation
was
still love-
definitely not 60 though. That was like he was. How old might he been? Maybe 35, something.
Yeah, so maybe
at the
they'd be
time.
like 40 now. Yeah, I think like 40-year-olds would still say it. It was still around when I was growing up, but I don't think me or my friends would say love to a random person. I mean, or anyone really.
Yeah.
Kind of an old term.
Yeah.
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 Yep. Weird terminology. I'm gonna leave you guys in awkward silence while I go refill my coffee.
Okay, goodbye.
I'll do
Well,
it.
I always find it interesting to have the discussion, mainly with Americans because they use it more, about whether dude is a gendered word or not. And I know Neal is a big fan of that one because he keeps saying it absolutely is not, right? And then what I
I think it started out as a gendered word.
It
and it's
started
been
out as
slowly
one. It
co-opted.
depends on the group that you're in, but overwhelmingly, I guess among the groups that I've interacted with, it is not a gender term.
Yeah.
it is
Dude.
not gendered, but only if you address somebody, right?
Dude is a gendered term in context and a non-gendered term in context.
Yeah.
And that's where the confusion comes from, because you can use it very genderedly, but when people are just kind of same thing with there's a lot of male pronouns that have been just kind of like guy, I think is one, guys, but
Yeah,
dude
guys gets
specifically,
used non-gendered.
yeah, it really depends on the context of the conversation and who's having it.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like it's mainly a thing where you address people. It's like if you say, "Hey guys," right? That can be like a whole
Yeah.
group of different people. But if you say, "Well, me and like I don't know," if you tell a story, you're like me and the guys, right? Or
No,
me.
no one would say
like-
that. It would be me and the boys.
Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yep.
even
I'm
okay.
kidding.
Or,
I'm kidding.
you
That's a
know.
joke. That's a
Or
joke.
there was a
Sorry.
group. If you say there's a group of guys standing at the blah, right? You would never think, oh, that's
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really only if you're addressing somebody like, "Hey guys," right?
And you
Or,
might
"Hey,
say
dude."
like John is a good guy, but you'd never say like Heather is a good guy. Or Sarah is a good guy.
I have actually said exactly that. Heather is a good
Yeah.
guy.
Really?
It's the exact
Yeah.
word.
Okay.
Heather is boss, and she is a good guy, and I've said that multiple times.
I don't know about Heather, man. I'm not sure.
No, I get it. There are some girls that is like okay, and like they're down. Like Heather and Devin are both kind of like one of the dudes, and they just get roped into it, right? And they're both cool with it. I've actually asked Devin before because I wasn't sure, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's great, love it." Some girls, no. Not okay. I have had the right act read at me because I did not read that situation well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ooh. I would always prefer being hey duded instead of being hello loved 100% of the time.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd rather be one of the boys than being loved by anybody. Doesn't even matter. Oh, yes, okay, you can quote that, Neal. Fuck it. No, really, it is like that. Doesn't matter your age. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you're 80. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. Makes me feel small when you do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes me feel small.
That is the reason why it's slightly inappropriate. It's not like you're right there. It doesn't come from a place like that, but that is the impression that it gives.
Yeah. You know, if we're going to talk about non-gendered ways to refer to people, I feel like the ultimate strategy is to just say "sup gamers," right? That accomplishes everything right there.
Gamers. Chummers? Can we just go full lean into the cyberpunk?
What if you're speaking to like people who aren't gamers? Just like sitting down in a meeting.
Don't speak to them. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Sup gamers, we're here to talk about the
if they're not at least
rise in the stock market in the
gold in League of Legends, you're still talking to them? Like, they're not even worth your time.
Call them players instead and see how that plays out. What's up, players? No? Okay. It is, obviously, but... can we bring back like old sport?
How's it
and
going,
just
sport?
make that a non-gendered thing? I like it.
Sport. Oh yeah, okay, that's quite
Yeah,
cool.
for women and men, I'm good with that. I like
What's up,
it.
Chief?
I like Chief.
How's
as
it going,
well.
big guy?
Chief is good. Chief is a good one.
What about Buddy?
I
Is
like
that
Chief,
gendered?
but I like Chief when you're trying to kind of like subtly deride the person.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Buddy.
Yeah, what about Buddy? That feels gendered to me actually, even though I don't see why it would be.
I don't know.
about-
I feel like Buddy is also kind of the, I don't know, not so smart friend. I don't know. You know, me and my buddy is like, oh, he's the guy I, hang out with. We watch sports and drink beer, but we don't really have anything in common.
What's wrong with me?
What about just Bud?
Buddy is
What's
the
up, Bud?
himbo of the group.
Yeah, I like Bud. I say that as well.
Bud.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Bud is probably, I don't know,
What, pal? That's
pal.
What do you really
I'm not
So-
your
I'm
man,
I'm not your
pal.
buddy, pal. Yeah, I'm not your pal.
Pal, I don't know. Pal feels clunky to me. It's too long. Like, pal. I don't like it. Was it American or is it British? Pal is American, right?
Oh, who knows these days?
Yeah.
Also don't know where that comes from.
Pal. Yeah, I don't know.
Pal. No idea.
Pal is kind of aggressive. See, I think that's Royal Red in chat. I think it's kind of interesting how you react to these different terms. It's kind of like unique to the person who's.
It's also kind of cultural, right? It's regional and just kind of like locational, right? Because depending on where you grew up, that would change what kinds of.
Yeah, because someone could
terms
call
are
you
used.
Chief and not mean anything by it, but you might take that in the wrong way, and he might not even
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to take that if somebody called me Chief. I'd be like, what?
What's going on, Chief?
What about
If somebody
boss?
called me Chief, I'd probably assume they're about to tell me that I like wrote just a horrendous bug that fucked everything up. Right?
Listen,
Like,
Chief.
yeah, I would assume I'm about to have a very bad day if somebody called me Chief.
What about
Like that's I
boss?
found irrefutable evidence you're a bad person, kind of a girl right there.
What about boss?
Yeah.
What's up, boss? I
Hey,
don't know.
boss. How's it
That
going,
feels
boss?
derogatory, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds way worse to me.
Yeah.
It almost sounds a bit
Everything else.
aggressive, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would depend. I think you could make that work depending on context.
It's
You
always
could
whatever.
use it at work, probably, with your boss, but I don't
Yeah, not quite the same.
Yeah. Right, you could
But-
reasonably call your boss boss. You could not reasonably call your boss chief.
I do have one friend at work, and I call her by her last name almost exclusively. Which is the only person I do that to, but we are probably the closest from the entire group. Like everybody else is just, you know, first names, but with her I always call her by her last name. And it's not like the playful way, but I actually call her Mrs. Whatever.
Oh, really?
You know, every time I see her. Yeah.
So that's quite interesting because in my school when I was a kid, all the boys pretty much all referred to each other by their last name. Like that's what everyone's nickname would just be by that. Would be
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
very,
That's how I know it
sports
as well.
thing.
Yeah, I guess it is maybe a
that's
sort
a-
of thing. I don't know.
When we like, you could tell who played sports and who didn't in our high school because all the people who played sports called each other by their last names almost exclusively. I think it's just because that's what the coaches yelled at us, but that's what we called each other, right? You didn't say, "Hey Mick, what's up?" You're like, "Yo, bees," right? And I was Hanson forever until like I started playing video games and stopped playing basketball as much, and then I became Greg.
Well, I did play sports, but my name was Rooster. So,
Rooster.
yeah,
that.
the
I never got a
German
nickname.
version. So
I appreciate that.
yeah, I got a nickname because the girls don't like we didn't refer to each other with last names. So
Yeah, nicknames were also common where I played sports, right? It was either last name or nickname, depending on what people felt like.
Yeah.
There was only like 3 nicknames in my entire high school that weren't like derogatory. Like there were nicknames for people that were very, very much disliked and like floated around. But there was only like 2 or 3 people in the entire high school that had like a nickname. Right? Like, I don't know. It felt like something that I wanted. I like see movies and things where people have cool nicknames. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be a nickname. But like, no, we just called each other by our names, last name or first name.
Yeah, I got Salamander, and I'm still not sure how I feel about that one.
Salamander.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Somebody wanted to call you that. That's a lot of syllables for a nickname, right?
Yeah.
Like, they were
right?
committed to that bit.
What are even the defining features of a salamander?
likes
Cut
to
the tail
bathe in
off
the
every
sun.
rose?
What? I'm just wondering what you did to warrant it, Sean.
I don't know.
Oh, but wait, your surname sounds maybe a bit like Salamander.
Oh yeah, no, that was it. That's because I didn't get Sally because there was already somebody who had gotten Sally, so they had to come up with something else, and that was how I got Salamander.
Right, okay, I can see that now, yeah. What's your surname again? It's like...
It's a name.
It's an owl.
I don't think he wants to.
Go on. By the way, Sean, I've been appreciating your tweets recently.
Have I tweeted
anyone,
anything?
I can't remember anyone in specifically. I just think it's been quite sincere.
Okay.
I like it.
I can't
all
remember
is
anything you've said, but I really like it.
I've been enjoying it. You know when you have a sharp intake of breath when you're on the toilet reading a tweet. Oh,
Have I tweeted
Read out
anything?
through my nose.
I've retweeted like
I think it's you at least.
more than my. I think I like have doubled my tweet count just by like retweeting instances of like police violence. And that's about it for the past like month.
No. There's been some hot takes.
Have I tweeted anything?
It is you, right? With the
You
wizard and your
tweeted
name's
20
like...
plus 48
Yeah.
equals 68.
Oh yeah, somebody was like, when you do math in your head, what does it look like when you do this like addition?
Oh,
How
that
does
was,
that
yeah,
work?
that was quite good. I enjoyed that actually as well.
Yeah,
different
I
reasons.
thought that was neat, so I did that. I also was pretty gleeful when I saw that Jonathan Sackler finally departed from this world. That's about it.
There's some other shit.
Oh,
I'm
wait,
I'm
what?
gonna scroll. I'm gonna just scroll through.
I mean, go for it. I've retweeted a lot. I haven't tweeted much myself.
There is a lot of retweeting actually. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
Jonathan Sackler
yeah.
the Sackler family?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Sackler family.
That piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, so not only but you put 2020 as throwing as a bone, which I thought was quite funny. The guy.
Oh yeah.
You guys can find his tweets at Baker Sundays on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I don't recommend it, but you can do that.
I'm just gonna put it.
At least
in
you tweet.
the chat.
I keep thinking that I should tweet, and then I just like I'll do it for a day and I forget.
Well,
I occasionally will be like, I wonder how many followers I've lost from the fact that my timeline has gotten so depressing over the course of the past month, and it's only gone up, which I find very weird.
Must be a Russian bot.
Yeah, well, whatever. I've been enjoying it anyway. He's shit on Ben Shapiro at some point. Quite liked.
I mean that's easy though, right?
My boss unironically defends Ben Shapiro.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. He's Orthodox Jewish, so I think he feels a kinship with him.
Oof.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right, quick and minor subject change here. Is Kanye really running for president?
No, didn't he drop out?
No, he's not. So he announced he's running for president. Like, remember that this guy has a number of mental health issues. He did not properly file to run, and he's not actually running in, I think, either Texas or California. So his campaign is basically dead.
Or Florida, I think. He missed
Well,
the
I
deadline.
mean, not like
Yeah,
he ever
like,
really had
it's-
a chance of winning, but you know,
I mean, he might have done it in Florida.
is he still? Is he
Who
actually
knows
on
who
any
has a
state
chance
ballots?
of winning anymore?
Yeah, remember
Have you
that we
seen
elected a
our
reality
president?
TV
That's
show
true.
star who is hated by both his family and the city that he grew up and lives in, and let's maybe discard preconceived notions of who
Okay.
can win and
Hey.
who
Fair
Exactly.
enough. Fair enough.
Good point, well made.
But is he actually registered in any states?
No, he's not.
No, he's
no.
basically not running because he's not
Okay.
registered anywhere.
All right.
I would have liked to see him win at this point. Like, 2020's been so fucking crazy. Like,
I fucking would.
it would have been.
Wait,
a
you
great
want to go
way for
from
the year to
Melania
end.
Trump to Kim Kardashian as first lady?
I'd like prefer Kim Kardashian to Melania Trump. To be
Oh,
honest.
honestly, I don't think the first ladies are the root of the problem, Neil. Okay,
Yeah.
like
I know, but like,
that's how you vote. You're like, oh, I don't like her, but I like her.
Well,
I'm gonna vote for her
I'd rather-
anytime.
It's
I'd
secretly
rather
why
see-
Obama won. Michelle was great.
I'd rather see Kim Kardashian as president than Kanye West, to be honest.
Oh Jesus, that's a discussion right there. Okay.
Well, I mean, Kim, she's not exactly. She doesn't seem as mentally ill as Kanye, and she doesn't seem as politically fucking stupid either. She at least like is challenging some cases on like unfair prison cases and shit like that. I think where Kanye just talks shit about vaccines and white supremacy. Being
I
against
think,
vaccines.
regardless of who you support to hold the presidency, one thing we can all come together and agree on is the idea of giving one person almost unilateral control over our country that we shift every 4 years is a very cool and good system that can only lead to positive outcomes.
What's your alternative, Joe?
I don't know, maybe not consistently giving more power to the executive branch that Congress refuses to engage in any oversight with.
I thought you
But
were
that would require
arguing
us to
for
not be
longer
a dying
terms.
okay, so, yeah, but so that's less to do with the person in the executive office as it is to do
Okay,
with
well,
the
if we're
Congress
getting
just
really
being inept.
technical,
right?
I don't technically believe there should be a presidency. So
Oh, just get rid of the executive branch?
Ban it all down. There shouldn't be a presidency. It's just a fucking elongated, treasonous rebellion.
Hey now, watch yourself
Hey
there,
now.
buddy. All right.
That's what I thought, though. Just bring the queen back. She's gotta show you the way. Don't worry
I
about
mean,
it.
tell me that you wouldn't be better off with the Queen than you would be Trump.
I wouldn't be better off with the Queen.
You would be though.
Ah, come on.
What was the last time the Queen made a decision, huh? All
Yeah,
she
exactly.
does is
She
sit
just-
in her high throne
exactly.
and just sits there.
Things just carry on.
isn't she like 110 now? Like, look, we're already doing an election between two 80-year-olds. I could do with like, let's maybe get down to like 65 as our cutoff, please. Like,
Yeah, I agree. That would,
would-
be nice.
I would appreciate like an
I
upper
think that
age
is
cap.
reasonable.
Yeah,
I think 65 is very reasonable.
yeah.
Yeah, Twig Taco says Kim passed the bar. She's a lawyer now. She's far more qualified than Kanye. So there
I
you
mean,
go.
that's cool. I will say there are really dumb and really terrible lawyers out there, but that is in of itself an accomplishment.
It's more than Trump's ever done.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, if you can pass the bar exam, I don't know. I know nothing about who this person is. I have no opinion of them. I don't understand who celebrities are.
You do surprise me.
I know everybody hates the Kardashians, and I have no idea why.
But given it the start of lockdown, you hadn't even heard of the Tiger King. I'm not surprised you don't know anything about him. Have you watched that yet?
I haven't watched it, but I'm
You're
going to.
aware of it now. You're aware of it now. That's good.
Yeah, I'll watch it at some point.
Just a personal recommendation. If you watch The Tiger King and you watch it for 20 minutes and then you stop and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? Take a break, return to it. The next day, you're going to be just fine.
Treat it like welcome to
That's how I
the
did
NHK.
And that's how another person I know did it as well, because they watched it and they were like, after 20 minutes, like, I had to stop because I was like, what? I was like, it's fine. Just do something else. Come back to it. You're going to be just fine. They're like, oh, I finished it. I was like, it's okay.
I mean,
I know what it's like.
Tiger King is basically just rural America, right? Like, it's not an out there wild story. That's just what rural America is.
That's just America,
like.
yeah.
I don't know. Is that rural? It didn't feel that rural to me, to be honest.
Oh, he's from
Like, I've
Oklahoma.
watched-
That's super rural.
Yeah. I mean, in that sense, yes, but it didn't feel like, you didn't have all the village people in there,
I think
talking about their life experiences.
people.
I don't know how to say it.
Okay,
sorry,
rural
what do you think
America
we
is
are?
not
Just a bunch of, like-
a bunch of villages. A lot of it is like weird people who cannot coexist with larger society, just kind of going borderline off the grid. That's a huge chunk of rural America.
I don't think that's a fair assessment of rural America.
I don't. No, and I don't say this to go like, oh, every rural American is bad, so much as like, this is a story that you will see regularly occur in rural
This
America.
is a story that you will
grow up
find
in-
because we are a giant country and we have large stretches of like rural poverty, but like that isn't the defining trait of rural America, right?
No.
Just join in.
But if you grow up in a rural area, there's a good.
Sorry.
I feel
if you
like
grew up in rural
there
America-
is a real divide that has grown and continues to grow between the like rural populace and the metropolitan city kids in America, and it's part of the reason why we have so many people feel incredibly disenfranchised. And it's because they see these metropolitan people have stories like this, not specifically this, like Sean saying, "Oh, everyone's a Tiger King, fuck them."
Well,
right?
no. Hold on. Let me.
I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm putting words in your
Yeah.
mouth for like comedic effect, but I think that it's important to recognize that there are people, and a lot of them, like a very significant amount of people who live a very different experience than the people who do in the cities. And while they're sometimes very wrong, they're disenfranchised for a reason, right? And like, we should try to understand them a little better.
And a lot of the shit that you see, like, this is really common among like Democrats in America, is they will make very derisive remarks regarding rural America, and a lot of it is hating on poor culture, right? It's like, fuck poor people. It's very thinly veiled in that regard. And to clarify, when I say like this is a common thing in rural America, it's not this is everybody in rural America so much as if you live in rural America, there's a good chance there's somebody who lives like within 15 minutes.
There's a good chance you know of somebody like this. They are out there and they exist. Maybe they don't quite get the full Tiger King treatment. He kind of found himself in a perfect situation, but those people do exist.
The same is somewhat true in the UK with Brexit. I mean, like, a lot of the people that voted for Brexit are the sort of disenfranchised poor in the north who feel like left behind by the establishment in London and the like sort of the left wing in the cities. So even though on a smaller scale, but I think you can see that same narrative playing out across a lot of Western countries. How the left wing, even though it stands for it stands for the poor, and it kind of does in reality, because a lot of those poor people vote for the right and have sort of like less progressive opinions. they're sort of looked down upon by the left, and in doing so, the left is kind of losing its original base, which was the working class, which is kind of what's happened in the last election here.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. And America has a double problem because we've disenfranchised so many people for so many different reasons, right? We're struggling right now very significantly with the Black culture and minorities as well. And they're disenfranchised for a completely different set of reasons. But being able to look across to other people and maybe not generalize as much is a good start. Not enough, but a start.
Yeah, we got really, we're not doing anything right now.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues that we run into is we don't. I don't want to do this on Chit Chat.
Okay.
We will go into a long discussion of why American politics is possibly irrevocably fucked, and let's avoid that.
Let's move on
for now.
I have some good news for us, which no one except for
Yeah.
Greg is going to understand. That missing person was found.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
I don't know who, but I'm glad.
Yeah.
Our neighbors had a friend who came to visit, and went for
You
a
guys
walk
got to
last
get
night,
to the
and like
early
didn't show
part
up
of the show.
until like 1. I don't know. We were out looking with flashlights for her until like 1:30 in the morning and couldn't find her.
Wow.
But apparently she showed up. So
Where was she?
I didn't get the details.
All right.
When I
That seems
went to get my coffee, I just asked my wife if she had shown up, and she said yeah, and I asked for details, and my wife was on the phone. She gave me the look like, I'm talking to someone else on the phone right now. How do you expect me to have a conversation with you about this
I'm
thing?
talking, okay? You're not important. Please leave.
I guess there's a real danger where you live, Neal, if you go missing late at night. You just get
Oh,
eaten
because
by a
of
mountain lion or some
eaten
shit.
by mountain lions or bears? Yeah.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, I've played Firewatch. It's terrible if you're out there by yourself at night.
There was actually maybe like 4 or 5 blocks from me. There was a news report yesterday that a bear had like broken into some woman's house, and like, you know, she wakes up in the middle of the night because her cat's like running up the stairs, freaking out, hissing, and all puffed up. And she like
Aw.
goes down the stairs to like see what's happening, and from her stairs she can see into the kitchen, and the bears like managed to rip it open the fridge and is
Holy
like taking
fuck.
out a bag of takeout, and then just like runs into the woods with the takeout
How was it
bag.
in the house? How is it in the house?
It broke through her screen door and just like broke into the house, opened her fridge, stole her takeout, and took off.
Is the screen door like glass or is it like mesh? or
No, it's a
something?
screen.
Okay, right. We
What
don't
makes
really
it
have
It's
that.
like
Screen out
very
glass.
thin metal.
Yeah, but it's
okay.
fucking hot as hell over here, so you might
Yeah,
keep your
yeah, sure.
your doors open.
No, makes sense. Damn.
I think that
Imagine-
sounds pretty cool, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
that's a-
cool
that's a
until you
good
wake
story,
up with it in
right?
your room.
Minor property damage. You lose a screen door, you lose some takeout. I think
But
the
you gain a
refrigerator's
story.
fine. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
gain an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I understand Soul Crusher that a bear could probably smash a glass door as well. I get that. I'm just saying that I'd be a little bit more concerned if the bear would like crash through the fucking glass. Bruh.
Oh yeah, but it's a black bear. They're babies. They're
Oh
so
yeah, black
sweet.
bears run away from you.
Yeah.
This is not good advice. Please don't listen to Neal or Sean.
I mean,
Treat a black
certainly-
bear with respect.
Just walk up to
Absolutely.
the bear. Just walk up to the bear, give him a quick head pat.
I mean, make
All
loud
bears
noises,
love
keep
head
your
pats.
distance. Make loud noises, keep your distance, treat the bear like
Yeah.
the wild animal it is. But also, like, if a black bear gets into your house, you can probably yell at it and it'll run off, you know?
You could totally take a black bear. You should try. It'd be really cool.
If you have a wrestling proficiency, maybe.
Now, wait, Sean, there's good news. The world population is going to peak much lower than previously estimated. We don't need to contribute anymore. I think the world population is now predicted to peak at like 8.8
saw
billion
that.
instead of 10 billion.
I thought it was gonna hit 10. Yeah.
No, the
whatever.
recent updates to the projections, it's going to be lower.
Thank God for
We're going to hit it
COVID.
sooner.
Oh my gosh. People.
Jesus, Nick.
Please.
Sorry.
Please, people. Keep it together.
Treat it like a gator. Grab it by the tail and yeet it. I feel like that is playing into some bad situations.
Oh
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I feel like I don't recommend that as a.
I mean, you do yeet for power, right? So
You
like,
do yeet for power, yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
actually how you get
yeah.
rid of gators? Just fucking launch.
No, you call animal control.
Yeah, you call a professional. That's how you get rid of a gator.
Well, I play Mario 64. You better get ready, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Next, they're gonna say, "Grab the stingray by the tail."
Ooh.
I've almost stepped into one of these. I was mortified.
A stingray?
Yep.
How did that happen?
I was diving. I was snorkeling on an island near Australia. I mean, in Australia, like an island that was pretty far out. And I was snorkeling, and there were turtles and sharks, and I was snorkeling, and I didn't pay attention, and I looked, and about like 20 centimeters ahead of me, when I looked down, was a stingray, and it was just like this.
Wow.
They are fucking huge, and my heart fucking stopped, because they're not attacking you or anything. They're pretty peaceful. Like, if you don't do anything to them, they don't do anything to you. But if you know Faye, she's a very clumsy person. So that would be very, apart from falling down the stairs or accidentally knocking myself out in the shower, that's probably in my top 3 deaths right there. So yeah, but yeah, made it though.
That's good. I'm not a big ocean person. I'm a weirdo. I don't like lounging on the beach. I've never enjoyed that. I don't like beaches. The only thing I found a beach to be good for is beach volleyball. That's pretty fun. But like, I could play volleyball without the beach, and it would be just as fun, I think. And like,
actually more fun because it's less exhausting.
Yeah, maybe
easier to move around without. Yeah.
There's something to be said for like the even playing field sand creates, though. Unless you're playing with a real god of an athlete, most of you are going to be able to run and jump and cover the same amount of ground.
That's true.
Which is kind of cool, right? It at least makes it easier to play with my friends, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Wait, are your friends the good ones, or are your friends the shitty ones?
I'm the best athlete of my friend group, except for RJ, who's like legit me. Like,
but your jumps
not fair to compare myself to RJ.
If you're a basketball person.
RJ has some unique advantages. But I don't like beaches, and I've never really liked the ocean. Like, I don't like swimming in it. I went snorkeling in Hawaii, and I just couldn't. I was just like, I'm so not having fun here. I just was like, could you just drop me off over there? I see a golf course. Like, I'll go. Do
Oh my god! Oh, no.
And yeah, so I don't know. I couldn't imagine myself snorkeling where there was like things I didn't want to be around, because I didn't like snorkeling when there was not things I didn't want to be around, right? Like, I'm just imagining sharks and stingrays and shit, and I'm like, no, this is not appealing to me at all.
I love the ocean, and I love the sea, and I don't like hot sandy beaches. I do like cold beaches, like the coast and stuff. I like that.
Cold beaches?
Yeah, I don't know so I had this discussion before, and somebody said it's not a beach if it's cold, then it's the shore or it's the coast. And I was like, okay, it was a British person, so Nick probably understands.
We've got beaches in England, and they're all fucking cold, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I like cold. That's what I mean by cold beach, right? You go there and it's like windy and it's like gray.
Have you never been to the coast in the Pacific Northwest, Neal?
Oh, I know what a cold beach is. I'm familiar with it. I said it out of surprise, as if that was something someone actually enjoyed.
How are you?
Okay.
Really? Okay, well then.
It's nice to go walking on.
It is. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, Neal.
I'm very judgmental, I know.
In California, right?
Yeah.
To him, cold is like anything below 82 degrees.
Our waters were cold even in Santa Barbara. Most people wore wetsuits to go in the water because we get that. Because on the Pacific coast, you get the water coming down from the Arctic, and by the time it hits Santa Barbara, it's still pretty fucking cold. You got to get down to like San Diego for it to get like nice and warm. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt your story about cold beaches with my surprise. Please continue.
It's fine. I don't think I had anything interesting to add. I'm just saying, Yeah, so I really enjoyed the snorkeling, and that I used to swim a lot when I was a kid. Like I was in a swim club and stuff, so swimming is good. I like that.
Yeah, I
And-
feel the same way about swimming. I used to do that.
Yeah, and snorkeling comes as an extension of that. I don't think I'm gonna dive really because I think I'm gonna kill myself.
You live in fear, Faye, of dying
Oh,
due to
dude, I
clumsiness.
know myself very, very well. Is the only thing, and the thought of just not, this is in anything that requires major security checks to make sure, you're gonna be okay makes me nervous.
So, like, you should probably buy a
So-
one-story house so you don't risk stairs.
Dude, I live literally. The garden is right there. Like
Oh,
this
that's
is. I don't know.
I just find this funny considering we talked about dying by falling down the stairs like 2 or 3 days ago.
We've talked about that. Well, that was also okay. Listen, during the quarantine, I have gone through almost every single true crime documentary there is on Netflix. Okay, I'm an expert. I've done the serial killer. I've done accidents.
Stairway.
I've done the bad child cases. I've done the Fernandez case. I think a few days ago, really bad as well. I've done the confession tapes. I've done the Ted Bundy, all these good things. And I did watch The Staircase, which, if you like true crime, it's one of the better true crime documentaries on Netflix out there. Because there are some that are really bad. There's one which is like The Pharmacist. Don't watch that. That's not good.
I haven't
Don't watch
watched
that. No. But the Staircase, very interesting. Very interesting. If you like, going in depth about blood work and blood splatters and what it means if blood splatters are in certain points in your apartment, if that interests you, I can absolutely recommend this documentary. Yeah.
Can you just piss Faye off? She knows.
Can you just give us like
Yeah.
a list of your best true crime documentaries? Which ones to start with,
I mean-
which ones to avoid.
I think about a week ago I taught Neal how to drown somebody in the bathtub. So if that's something you're interested in, we could talk.
Why were you asking about that now?
I wasn't.
Neal, why are you
This was
asking?
volunteered information. This was Neal. If someone's taking a bath and you need to kill them, just grab their feet and pull them straight up, and then they'll just faint, and then they'll drown and die. It's great.
Easy.
Lift yourself up with your arms by like putting your arms on the side of the tub.
I think the harder part is getting into the bathroom while someone's in the bathtub while they're just like still there. I'm like, oh, hello, stranger. Yes, I'm going to stay laying down while you come into the bathroom.
I don't
that's
think
the
you're
hard part.
supposed to drown somebody who's a stranger, Neal. This person was drowning people that they were married to, okay? So
Okay,
it's
but
entirely different.
This is a useful
You
detail
can just
to
kill them
add
when they're
in.
asleep. You can just kill them when they're asleep if you're married to them. You can just cut their
That's
throat
so.
when they're asleep.
Well, but I
You
think
couldn't
the
cut their throat. You fucking you
What?
use a pillow. Who cuts their throat? The fucking mess afterwards.
Weird.
Whatever.
Yeah,
you try and
'cause-
smother
You
me
kill
with a
somebody
pillow,
in
you
their
get punched in the face.
Well, no, because you cut your throat, it's going to be a bloody mess. Then they're going to come and
no.
look at you as the murderer. But if you can like make them pass out so they drown in the
Okay.
bathtub, then it looks like an accident.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, the bathtub is the way to
Yeah,
go.
I see. I know. I see.
See-
It's a huge mess. You have to get new sheets, and like those are expensive.
To get
Typical
You don't wanna do
Englishmen
that.
only thinking about the short-term outcome without any real long-term ramifications.
This
What a
is
Brexit here.
Oh yeah, well, we'll just wait for Trump. That'll be a laugh.
I know, it's
Yeah.
so depressing.
Imagine how funny that would be, dude, if we just voted for Donald Trump. Like,
You guys just elect him in your country?
Democrats.
Just take him away from us?
Just do it and be legends.
yeah, give him citizenship. He likes being Scottish anyway. He could be Scottish.
Oh, but they don't
Prime
like him.
Minister. No, they hate him, as any
Yeah.
reasonable people would.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that video of the one girl after Brexit was interviewed, and she said, yeah, she was crying. She was crying terribly. And they were asking her why she was crying. She said, well, yeah, she voted for Brexit, but she didn't think it was actually going to happen. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
my
The
word.
what? Like, what?
Thanks, that fucking idiot.
Oh,
Thanks a
jeez.
lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
We still got no plan, but don't worry, there's a plan. We just haven't actually got a plan yet, but there is a plan, so don't worry. I mean, we've
I'm not
passed the-
worried.
There's
Are
no
you worried?
transition. I'm a bit worried, yeah. We've passed the deadline for an extension of the transition period, so there has to be a deal, or there's going to be no deal. And Johnson says that there's going to be a deal, but at the same time, he's refusing to back down on any single demand, and the EU's already said that they won't agree to what he wants. So there's going to be a deal, but I'm completely inflexible. So I guess we'll see where we go from there.
Joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
Joy and independence, you know?
Mhm.
Independence.
What else can you
Day.
ask for?
That's right.
You should make it a national holiday.
Free from the
Yeah.
shackles of the unelected bureaucrats in Brussels.
Goddamn continentals.
Yeah, exactly.
At least you guys have like a unified leadership on what to do when a pandemic hits, instead of splintering and fracturing into 1,000 subgroups with no overall plan.
I can't tell if he's being serious or not.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
talking about Europe or England?
I'm talking
Europe.
about England.
Oh, England. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean yeah, nobody even lives in those countries, Neal, so.
What?
In like, you talk about Northern Ireland and Scotland and Wales.
I'm just. Never mind. Just never mind. It's fine. We'll just move on.
Because the other countries in the UK aren't following the same lockdown rules as England. I thought
Are they
maybe that's
not?
what you're referring to. No.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys
So
not
nice
have like
country.
one good? I've been under the impression your response has been fine now after initial period of doubt and confusion and terror.
No, not really. One of the worst in the world, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Everyone just looks better than us, Neal, right? When
Okay,
you're
'cause I'm just
when you're
looking at
the
everybody else
ugliest
and I'm like,
person
wow,
in
they're
the
doing
room,
so
everyone
great.
else looks really good.
Yeah.
Hey, Boris Johnson would look like a fucking. Well, he looks like a travesty anyway from where I'm sitting. But he'd look. If it wasn't for Donald Trump, things would be looking a lot fucking worse over here right now. But
There's
across
Donald
the front
Trump,
and think,
right?
oh, it could be worse. Okay.
This is my point, right? Like, even bad plans look better than us at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's move on from that.
Okay, I'm just gonna AFK for a second.
Yeah.
I played D&D for the first time in like ages yesterday. It's pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
Did you DM?
Huh?
Did you DM?
Yes. Yeah, I don't play. I haven't played as a player except for like a couple of times in shenanigans, right? I could use a game. Actually, I could use any game at the moment. I used to run a 5e campaign and a 2e campaign, and then we would run like we'd have like friends that would play like kind of one-ofs of other stuff, right? And I don't really have that anymore. Right now, but my 2e campaign is gone. Just like people grew up, got kids and wives and jobs and stuffs. And
Goddamn wives.
so I don't think. No, it's not their fault. The wives wanted to play, actually.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. That group's just probably not gonna make it back together, except for maybe to like play a board game or something once in a while. My 5e group is still there, and we played, but I don't really have that. I could add another game to my schedule. I've been itching to like play stuff. I've also been dying, so there's that too. But I picked up the 5e campaign. I'd left off. I was making a character. There was a warlock, and I was making a patron. I thought would be fun. I made him a literal analog to the like biblical devil, and I thought that was really fun. And I needed a like quest for him. Somebody, not from the advice channel, one of my friends said, "Hey, have you ever watched the show Lucifer?" I was like, "No, I think I've heard of it. It's on like Netflix, right?" Like, yeah, it is now. And they're like, this sounds almost exactly like what you're trying to do, right? You're saying like the devil runs an opium den in your campaign. I was like, yes. They're like, okay, the show is about the devil coming to Los Angeles and running a bar. I was like, really? He's like, yes. Watch
pretty
the
sweet.
show. And I was like, okay. And then I started watching it. I was like, oh my God, I am stealing this character wholesale and replacing my patron. It was so, I've been enamored with it. I've been watching it. I watched like the whole season in like a day and a half.
Wow.
Whole first season. And I kept asking people, I like had questions. It's like, what should I do? Like, what does the devil need, right? It's really hard to, it's a good idea in your head to be like, the devil calls in an IOU, but what is the IOU? Like, what does he actually need? In the show, he like cuts off his wings and like stores them in a bunker, and then they get like stolen. And then I was like, oh my god, I could have the players go get his wings. And that was like the whole session we ran, is them like interacting with the devil in this opium den, him like sweet talking all the clerics, and then going and getting the wings. I had such a good time. I miss D&D. I guess that was the point of bringing this up, because I had such a good time. I want to play more. I'm gonna have to find a game to run.
Talking about playing more D&D now.
Yeah, you guys want to do it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Start right now.
Right now. Well, I've been putting it off because I've been not sure what to do, and someone made a post on the subreddit a couple days ago being like, oh, the roleplay days were so great, everyone was just doing like crazy shit, and I realized that it's because compared to what I do now, I never really prepped any of that older roleplay shit the way I do these days. It was sort of like, well, I'll do this one encounter, but I'm not going to worry about like the greater world, and we'll just like fucking make it up as we go along. And so I've decided not to prep for this theoretical game we're going to do and just fucking wing everything. And that makes me feel a lot better about doing it, and it makes me feel a lot better like, I've got good players. They'll make a cool story, and I won't have to fill in any details.
Exactly.
So
we're rolling for stats or what?
So whatever you want. There you go. That's my spiel. Whenever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whenever. Thank you.
Whatever you want, except for True Resurrection, but otherwise everything's
Yeah, fuck that
fine.
shit.
And no paladins.
Yeah.
I
So, I
think
don't know.
people have
No
a little
druids.
bit of rose-colored glasses for some of those shows.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
they are
Oh, I
so
think you're totally right. Yeah.
influential, right? Because like they were the first things a lot of us watched, right?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I owe a lot of my like getting really deep into the hobby to watching roleplay when it came out, because I was like, oh wow, this is fucking awesome. Like this is great. I want more of this, right? And so like I had played a little bit before that, but I watched that and then I went to college and was like, oh, there's like groups that do this. Okay, I'm going to dive into this now. But I don't know if those shows are like, I'm not saying they're bad. They're still fun to watch, but if you go
They've got rough
backwards,
edges.
they have a lot of more rough edges than I think people remember.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think roleplay was so great just because Jeff was an absolute fucking legend. I just thought his character carried
The
that
cast
show so
was
hard.
great. All of them
Yeah.
were great. In
So I
Control
think-
is amazing.
I think there is something that resonates with people when they watch roleplay, which is it doesn't feel like a show as much as many shows
Yeah.
do these
Mhm.
days, because it's something I love about D&D and something I love about Neal's shows often, which is it feels like people are playing D&D, right? And I'm big into, I love role playing. I love doing the voices. I mean, you know me, right? I make up shit, but I like watching people go through the experience of playing D&D. That's something that is fun for me, and that's something that roleplay had a lot, right? Because I mean, it's not like they know what they're doing. It's not like they know what their characters can do or they know how to roll for things, right? Like it's not that. But like a big part of old roleplay was not just the story and how people were being in character or something like that, but it was actually the game aspect of it, and was people
You're watching
you know,
a group of friends playing a game,
Playing.
having a good time.
exactly. Yeah.
You got
And I think
wrapped
that
up in
was
a
one
group of
big
friends.
That is
Yeah.
one big thing. And some people enjoy that like a lot, you know, and that's an aspect you don't find everywhere anymore, because D&D often gets to be more the role play. Like
It
I
gets
know
very
Sean doesn't like it when I say
produced,
role playing, because, you know, like more the acting part of it, right? The acting part, the production, the music, the blah, 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 you know, and that's all good. That's all good. I love these things as well, but I also love the people having a good time
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Natural good time, you know, not I'm having a
Mhm.
good time because I'm a professional having a good time, you know?
Yeah, and like one of the things that I get the impression of a lot when I watch shows is that I feel like people are trying to go, what would make an interesting story, right? Like a lot of people go from that perspective, like I wanna craft a fun narrative with my decision here, and it's like just think about what your character would do, and just make a decision that fits for this character's personality.
Yeah.
Like
Or just do what you think is fun and see if you can fit it with your character, right?
and then
It's an attitude I see in people who play offline as well. I think as the game has grown in online circles and as shows, people expect the game to feel like a show, right? And so I often run into people I used to before the world shut down, at game shops who want to have their like Twitch stream experience at the table, and they're very interested in having this like grand sweeping narrative, and I run very gamey games sometimes because that's like we're supposed to be just having fun and gaming at the table, and I view some things with like nicer glasses than a lot of people do, like metagame knowledge. I think metagame knowledge is healthy at the table and can be a lot of fun, and is something that I encourage people to use and sometimes exploit against them when I feel it's necessary. But I think that like someone tried to argue with me that setting the troll on fire was metagamey because their characters had never seen a troll before. And I said, no, you, the player, know that that's smart to do. You should do that. We're playing a game at the table, right? You and me and Tim and Diana over there want this troll to die, so light that mother on fire, right? And we're going to have a good time.
I think this is why you need to invest in a gavel. And you call it the metagame gavel, right? And when somebody talks to you about how they don't want a metagame, you hit them in the head with your gavel.
I mean, I think these things are all fine as long as people are on board with it. Like, what is difficult is if you're playing with the group you've always played with, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, if you're playing with the group you've been with for like 5 years, who cares if that's meta knowledge or not? Like, I don't give a fuck, right? But if you're like the new player in a group and you haven't played before, and everybody else is the meta king, right? And they're like, oh no, we're gonna, this is obviously monster XYZ. It has this many hit die. We gotta do this in order to, right? And suddenly you feel a little bit left out from the group who's in the know about what to do, and you're feeling like you're making stupid decisions because you just don't know. But you also don't want to read up in the monsters manual what everything is, because for some people, experiencing things by just oh shit, this is a Tarrasque, right? Like that is a unique encounter for you with all the mechanics, and that you will never forget. But if somebody's like, oh, this is what it is and this is how it goes, right? That takes away from your fun. But if you're together with the group and everybody knows anyway what's going on, then what the fuck, set the troll on fire. Why do you, at least you don't have to do this awkward dance around. How are we going to figure out how to keep him from regenerating, right? Because that's awkward. That's more awkward than saying we just light him on fire, right?
Yeah, and like the part where you don't know how to fight the monster's gimmick is the least interesting part of the fight, right? Like the most interesting ones are going to be the ones where you know the gimmick and you know how you know that there's a counter to it, and you have to find a way to employ the counter, right? Like if people know you set the troll on fire, make it difficult to use fire against the troll, right? Add a complication that makes the fire solution a dangerous one or a difficult one to implement. Yeah, it's an underwater troll.
Yes.
A good example of that. I remember in the original roleplay where they were fighting a werewolf, I think, and they didn't have any silver weapons, and they knew that silver would kill it, and I think they ended up hammering like silver coins into its head or something like that.
Yeah, that was great.
It was pretty cool.
On one hand, I was like, that's not how you beat a troll. I wanted this to be hard. You can't just... And on the other hand, I was like, that's a really fucking good idea. There's no way that wouldn't work. I think he just like pressed the coins into the eyes, and then they
had a blacksmith's hammer, and they just hammered it in.
Yeah. Nice. It was some intense shit.
I had a group independently do the same thing. So I think it's one of those things where like when you get the troll or you get the werewolf pinned down, you're like, do we have any silver on us? I have coins. Everybody's like, how can I use a coin?
Yeah, so it can be a lot of fun. It just really depends on what people you're hanging out with. And it's the same with a lot of stuff. It's the same with, for example, lawyering. There are people who are very allergic to it. They're like, if you take up more than 30 seconds discussing a rule, I think you're a terrible person and you should never come back, right?
Not in this
party. I'm just like, if I can sit back and I can listen to people having a discussion about rules and how things are worded for an hour and not be bored. I don't care. Like, I'm listening. I'm probably going to join in at some point. I'm sometimes lawyering, but like, I'm having a good time with a friend of mine who's introduced me to 5e, and I don't know anybody who's more knowledgeable about 5e rules than him. Like, at Chippendale, by the way, great guy to play D&D with, can recommend. And he's very, very, very knowledgeable, right? And I'll have discussion with him about rules, and that's how I learn a shit ton about D&D 5e and about rules and how to apply things, right? And that's incredibly fun for me, and my group doesn't mind, right? We have these discussions all the time, but I can see other people who would be genuinely annoyed with them, would be like, can you guys just shut the fuck up? You're breaking my immersion. You know, that's all legit, and that's all valuable. That's all cool. It's just a different table, right? And you gotta make sure that that's for the people you're hanging out with, you know?
Yeah.
I have a hot
all.
take.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Let's hear the hot
Immersion
take.
is overrated.
Oh, that is a hot take.
What's overrated?
Immersion.
I
Everyone
agree.
likes to bitch about their immersion, but I think that it's overvalued in the Dungeons and Dragons community.
I specifically in the tabletop gaming space, I agree with you. Right. I see it more in video games, particularly nowadays, where video games can actually be really immersive experiences, right? Like, you can play a horror game and turn the lights out and put your headphones on, and that's a pretty immersive experience.
I actually
Tabletop
can't do that.
games-
Impossible.
Too immersive.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe you don't want to do that, but it is an immersive experience, right?
Well, I mean, I guess it is. I couldn't tell, so. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, you can't.
I have
do
an
it in the
issue
same
with
way
horror video
tabletop.
games because they overstay their welcome. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of horror video games are
Yep.
trying to be like this 25-hour experience, or like
Make it like 10, right? Like,
Make it-
6 to 10.
make it 45 minutes. Make
That too,
one
yeah.
really intense like scene or really intense like moment, and like that's
Mhm.
what you need. Games that go the 15 to 25 hours like either drag, repeat themselves, or are trying to be like 6 games in once.
Mhm.
Yeah, so actually going off that, my Amnesia The Dark Descent run was, I think, about 6 hours. I felt like it was about 2 hours too long, right? By the end of that game, I was like, fuck, I just want to get to the end already. Please just let this game be over. Yeah.
I think I have
with you on that.
I have in general just a hard time consuming media, whatever it is, that makes me sad or afraid. Because I feel like I'm spending my time on I'm spending my free time on something that I'm trying to decompress, and I'm trying to go gain new experiences, or like I want to learn or I want to chill. Okay, either of these things are fine. It's also cool if it makes me happy, but I'm not gonna I have zero appeal for horror in any way, right? I think the first or the last horror thing I actually consumed in any way was The Haunting of Hill House,
Ooh.
which was really good. Yeah, but
It's good. The ending.
It's different. It's not. Yeah, I mean, I agree. But it's not horror in the Amnesia kind of way, right? It's different, and it's probably in a way that I can still enjoy it in. But if you're trying to get these YouTube React emotions out of me, I don't like that. I don't like that from horror. I don't like it from comedy either, and I don't like it from these. When something tries to make you too emotional, I block off. I'm like, okay, you know what? No, sorry, can't do. Sorry, not
Best
happening.
horror movie in the last few years. The Lighthouse. Anyone seen that?
I haven't watched it yet. I really still want to watch it.
It's fucking sweet. Have
I'm
you seen
still
The
on
Witch? That's by the same director.
The Witch, no.
That's really good as well. Recommend
The
that.
last thing okay, so one horror thing I watched, I guess it's horror, is which one is the one? Hereditary?
Oh, that was great
stumbled-
as well.
And I stumbled into that entirely by accident. If I had known what it was about, I would have never watched it. I did enjoy it, okay, but I was sitting on the plane and I was flipping through the movies, and it said thriller. They lied, okay? They fucking lied to me. It said thriller, suspense. I was like, okay, I'm cool with thrillers. I can watch it. It wasn't a thriller, it was a fucking horror movie. Come on. No.
What I liked about Hereditary was the the last like couple of scenes, like the payoff was really worth it. Like a lot of times the payoff in horror films is kind of a bit of a letdown, but the final scene in the attic in Hereditary with his mum was fucking intense. I don't want to spoil it, but that was great. I like Midsommar as well, but not as much as Hereditary.
Is that the one where she's taking care of her mom and she has the like Alzheimer's?
No. Well, her mum dies right at the start of Hereditary.
Mm.
No, it turns
There
out
was
that
a
her mum-
film that came out where they're like,
Is that the one where it's
Okay.
like a creepy old person with dementia? It's like I do. I think I know the film
somebody
you're
has like
talking about.
Alzheimer's or dementia, and like it manifests itself in this like horror movie kind of way. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Sounds
I like that.
heartbreaking.
That
Holy
was
shit.
quite good. What was
Yeah.
that called? That wasn't as good as Hereditary though.
No, okay.
So if I was able to watch Hereditary, am I able to watch The Lighthouse, or is The Lighthouse worse?
The Lighthouse is not as like horror as.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
hear. Okay, very good.
The dialogue and the acting in the Lighthouse is just phenomenal. So good.
Yeah. I heard that it's good.
Yeah. Edward
God,
Pattinson's
I
really
haven't
great
watched
in
a
it,
movie
yes.
in ages.
Oh really?
My friends used to work at the movie theater when I was in high school. And so like there was a period of time in like the late 2000s, like I guess like 2007 to like 2010-ish, that like we just watched every movie because they got like themselves and one friend in for free. And I had like 3 friends that worked at the movie theater. So like our group of friends could just like on a random day when we had nothing to do, just like go see movies. So we watched like every movie that came out ever. And all my friends, I guess, never wanted to ever go to a movie theater again once they were done working there. I guess that's fine. Probably reminds them of work. But like, I just don't have friends that go to movies anymore. And now at like 30, I can't remember. Like, I guess I go see like one movie a year with my family, maybe around Christmas. Like, I can't even remember the last movie I've seen. I catch them on like
movie I saw
TV
was-
and Netflix occasionally, but not.
I think the last one I saw was Star Wars.
Yeah, I saw Star Wars. Before that was like
Well,
Black
wasn't
Panther.
that a
was pretty
great
good.
experience?
You know what? I was thoroughly entertained. Not
I
for the
enjoyed
reasons
Star
they
Wars.
wanted me to be, but I was thoroughly.
Just because you're laughing hysterically at moments where everybody else is really immersed, Sean, doesn't mean it was a good time, okay?
Oh my god! You know the scene where like they do the big fan service scene where she hands the medal to Chewie and it's like, "You deserve this." I started laughing in my seat. And I was like sitting there trying to muffle myself because there were people like around me just watching this movie like, yes, this is a cinematic masterpiece. And I was just sitting here like,
Yeah.
start laughing.
I think it also at the same time had a lesbian couple kissing somewhere on the left-hand side, like about 2 seconds later. It was very
It might get edited out in some countries because it.
Oh,
wound up
maybe
being
it wasn't
dumb
here, so
controversy.
probably. It was
I thought
very,
you meant in the movie
in the
theater.
theater.
I was
Yeah, so did
trying
I.
to figure out why that
No!
mattered. I was like, the movie wasn't so good, but this lesbian couple over here, I was like, what?
Exactly. It's the time Sean and I went to watch Star Wars together. You know.
I brought my Surface with me and just kind of pointed Faye at the movie screen.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, that was. I was committed though. It's like if I watched the first movie of trilogy or whatever, I'll probably watch the last one. I watched the last one. I'm glad I did, and I'm done with Star Wars now. So.
So it's time for Starship Troopers 1, 2, and 3.
Absolutely, we can watch that movie night when.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, we can skip the second one. We'll just go 1 to 3. That's all we need.
Is the third one? I've never seen the third one. Is it good?
Oh,
Define good.
it is
Wow, the first
a
one's great.
masterpiece in a direction you would never expect a masterpiece to be, with surprising twists and turns that you would never see coming, and
Starship
musical
Troopers
numbers.
3 is absolutely one of my favorite movies, but
Oh, wow.
it is not good the way Starship Troopers is
beautiful.
good, right?
I don't
It's-
trust Neal's opinion of movies.
Starship Troopers 3 is tons and tons and tons of fun, but it's
They're
not
mechs.
you
They're
can't
giant mechs that
expect it
people get to
be
get
a,
in.
like a film, you know.
the leader of the Federation is a pop star.
Yes.
It's
Is it
so
the same
relatable.
cast?
It's got the main guy, but no one else.
Oh, okay.
Casper Van Dien, my hero.
Yeah, I don't know. That's-
Your hero.
I remember the guy who's in Harold and Kumar as well, and How I Met Your Mother. What's his name?
Neil
Patrick Harris.
Yeah,
He does not return for this, unfortunately.
That's a shame. Yeah,
Yeah.
Doogie Howser. I don't know who that is, but that's what they call him in Harold and Kumar. So
He was a child
He
actor
was
who
a-
played a doctor, but he was like a
Yeah.
13-year-old doctor, and I'm solving things.
Yeah.
And he'd like end all of his
okay.
sessions like typing up his notes in his computer, like reflecting. Like instead of journaling, he's like typing his journal, and it was so advanced because it was in the 90s and he had a computer.
kids these days, eh? What are they like?
Yeah. Sean, you're probably right. Don't listen to my taste in movies. I love
If
really
you
bad
think Neal's
things.
taste in movies is bad, you should listen to him when he talks about a series that he's watching. That is really bad. I think the
Excuse
movies are
me?
doing all right. In the
Excuse
grand
me?
scheme of things, I think your movies
Is
are
this about
okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Okay.
That
That
or
is
which
a-
one is the other one you're watching? CSI? No, which one is it?
Law and Order SVU?
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm not proclaiming these things. Okay, I actually am proclaiming Buffy to be a masterpiece, but CSI, Law and Order SVU is not a masterpiece in any way, shape, or form.
But
It's
you've watched how many seasons of it?
20?
Oh, there we go.
Holy fuck
Okay.
now.
It's really easy when you're like sitting and writing campaigns or playing Dota or like doing something on your computer for 8 hours a day, and you can listen to music while you do it, or you can just have like random TV on the side, and then it doesn't take that long to get through 20 seasons of Law and Order.
Well, you gotta promise me something. Since I'm the expert at killing people, you gotta be the one who catches me now, right? Because you're the Law and Order professional. That's how it
Season
goes.
21.
Neil has watched 20 seasons of learning. Neil spent 20 seasons learning how to look at a computer screen and yell "enhance."
Oh, no, hold on. That's NCIS, which I was only able to watch 5 episodes of before I had to turn it off because that is true trash, but there is 20 seasons of NCIS. That is the worst.
Imagine watching 20
Holy
seasons
shit.
of Law and Order and then turning your nose up at episode 5.
No,
NCIS.
dude, have you seen NCIS?
Yeah, I think I've seen a bit of.
Oh my
all of it.
god.
They're all the same to me now.
No, there's like
Yeah, I feel bad
there's
now,
a
'cause I've
level of
quality
quality difference here between NCIS
I've
and Law and
recommended
Order.
TV shows to you before, and you'd be like, "Oh, I watched the first episode and it was garbage. I'm not watching it anymore." Now I feel
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel like my television watching habits must be the worst of anybody here. You're judging Neil for like a long running, like pretty reasonably made show. Like, I watch like the trashiest things.
Oh, you don't have to worry about it, Greg. I'm giving shit to people for anything all the
To
time. Like, it doesn't
everybody.
even
If you're
matter.
If you're not watching true crime, you're watching shit TV, everyone.
What about
I could
the
judge you
Martian
just
this
the same. Get in line. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Tell us about it.
I get addicted to shows with the dumbest premises.
Like?
Okay. One of my more recent addictions that I binged everything on YouTube on is a show where Catherine Ryan and Jimmy Carr sit and judge couples for.
Oh, that is
being
actually a
hot
good
or
show.
not.
Judge couples for what?
Oh, it's so
Or-
good.
It's called Your Face or Mine, and
it's
they
good.
judge couples on how weird they are and what they look like. And then they bring people in and they have the audience judge which
so
one's
funny.
hotter, and they have the other couple try to choose for money if their partner or the person they brought in is hotter.
So
This
that's
is
really
terrible.
good. They'll bring on so it'll be a couple, right? And they'll bring on the
Yeah.
guy's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then
What?
they'll have the audience vote on who's more
Yeah,
attractive, his
yeah.
current girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend.
Yes. And then for
the-
money, he has to choose the right answer.
Oh my
And
god.
Jimmy Carr and Catherine Ryan will just lay into these people like so much.
Yeah, it's good. That used to be on TV
like that.
15
I
years
like
ago,
that.
you know, and then it got cancelled, and now it's back. I forgot that had come back. I'll have to watch that.
I just want to get on this show and just bring all my ex-boyfriends.
Which one should I be with, huh?
No, like the other way around. So I want to put them on, and then I'm coming in as the ex-girlfriend, and then it's like, well, who's the hotter one, right? And I'm like,
So all your
Yeah.
ex-boyfriends have to be like, was Faye hotter or was my current girlfriend hotter? I see.
My
Exactly,
favorite part is when
exactly.
they
Couldn't that end
blindfold
very
one
poorly?
of them, and then they get a
No,
lineup
look at
of
me.
random people. and then
Oh,
they have
yeah,
to
yeah.
choose where in the lineup their partner goes.
Yeah, that's good as well.
Oh my god.
That one's fun.
I was really not okay with this premise at first, but like just the tension of like having to do this rating with like X's and everything. That's good
It's
shit.
funny. It makes good TV. Makes good TV.
So that's the kind of television that I get addicted to and watch.
So do you have the feeling that the couples look very alike when they come on?
Sometimes the couples have ranged quite a bit. There's some that are like, no, how did this happen? And then there's some that's like, yeah, I see it.
Oh no. No. Please. Yeah.
What's the breakup rate after the show?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Is the new series British or is it American?
I have to assume it's British.
But the people on it.
It's on YouTube and not on TV as far as I can tell, and that
Okay.
screams British to me.
Oh, Catherine Ryan lives in England now anyway, right? So it probably is English.
Catherine Ryan, yeah. She's definitely in England. I think she's like a full citizen, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
She's on all sorts of panel shows over here, actually.
None of
Yeah.
these half-citizen measures over here.
Oh,
Well, she's a Canadian.
I know her. Yeah, she's
We won't-
Canadian.
We won't give her
Yeah.
citizenship to England. She can have like Northern Ireland or something like that.
Okay.
I'm just-
I thought I don't know. I have weird. I know very little about like big celebrities, but small comedians I'm into.
Well, Jimmy Carr is not a small celebrity over here. He's a big celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
He's
enough.
one of the
famous.
biggest, probably, Brits.
I just know him as the stand-up guy who has the same act. There's
Yeah,
like
every show is the
yeah.
same thing.
There's like he has like 4 like full taped shows and they're all exactly
Yeah.
the same jokes.
Yeah.
If you like stand-up, I'd heavily recommend the Canadian section of like what is it, like stand-ups of the world or like a around the world comedy. There's like a Netflix series where they do just stand-ups from
Which
all over
is
the place.
good
And
in
the
general.
Canadian,
It's a good one.
the Canadians are great. There's this chick, Anna Smith, who is fucking hilarious. Highly recommend.
I love
those.
the Irish ones as well. Irish women are fucking hilarious.
Irish
So
people are
funny.
Oh, Aisling
So
B.
funny.
She's my
She's
my
great.
favorite currently.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Aisling
great.
B's
Oh, I
hilarious.
really like her. She's in a TV show on Netflix actually,
Yeah, I think so.
with Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like her.
yeah.
Talking about stand-up, I must recommend Stuart Lee. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. I know I showed Neal some of it when I was in America. Do you remember Neal, the bit about Scotland and Braveheart?
I can't say I know him.
What?
He was like doing a show in Scotland, and he was talking about Braveheart and William Wallace. Nah, you're probably drunk. You're pretty drunk. Doesn't matter.
I don't
But Stuart
remember.
Lee, check out the greatest stand-up comedian of all time,
What was his name?
I've watched.
Stuart Lee.
I don't think I actually have to. Oh, I need a fucking notebook. Hold up. I've watched some James. Is he called Acaster or is it Acaster?
James Acaster.
Acaster.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
similar
he's
to
good.
Stuart Lee. Actually, I like James Acaster.
I like.
I
Acaster.
don't. Yeah, I don't appreciate him as much on shows. I'm not the type of like.
Yeah, he's
There's a
better.
show going on, but if you watch his stand-up, that he's on Netflix as well.
Yeah.
If you watch his stand-up, it's almost like theater. Like it's a piece that is playing out right from the beginning to the end, and it's really good. He's like really, really good, and I can like totally relate to this awkwardness. So if you like awkward people,
Love it.
fantastic.
So the way it's like a piece from beginning to end, that's what Stuart Lee's like. Here you go. I'm gonna put a link to this Braveheart bit. It's very good. Check it out, chat.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I've seen lots of stand-ups and usually it goes from one bit to another bit and then there's like a little repeat of the biggest joke at the end somewhere, right? That's how the arch goes. But like the way James Acaster puts his jokes together and builds them up and it's like a show, like a one-man stand-up show it's really amazing. I haven't seen something like that in a long time.
I like the bit. I don't even know if you watch it in isolation, it's not funny, but the bit where he does like the football song where he sings the letters like over and over. Do you know the bit I mean? It's like,
I don't think I've seen that one. I just the one I keep remembering is the one where he went to a shop and was trying to buy a banana. Have you seen that?
Yes.
It is so good. And he goes
Oh
into
yeah, I do remember. It's the beverage juice. Yeah.
how he's going to open his own shop and all he's going to sell is bananas. And I could just follow this line of thought. I'm like, this is, being the pettiest of the petty people. And I could feel that right in my heart. And I was like, yeah, that's how it's like.
That was a great bit.
Is it where they're giving like a banana free with a coffee? But if he wants a banana on itself, he has to pay £1 or something like that.
It was like, not only these bananas. Like, you have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's so good.
It is good, yeah.
Costa Coffee.
Costa Coffee. The worst of the coffee chains.
Is it?
There's 4 coffee chains in England, right? Here's the ranking. Pret a Manger, Cafe Nero, Starbucks, Costa Coffee. Fucking come at me, anyone. Disagree. I feel strongly.
Well, I like the chai latte, but it's not coffee, right?
It's not coffee, yeah. So
that counts. Sure.
How was your small time coffee shop industry doing in England?
Yeah, it's doing better actually. There's one opened up just by me, which is nice. I mean, I'm sure it's not like in Seattle, but
honestly, it's not even just Seattle. Like when I was in Eastern Washington, there were coffee shops opening near me just constantly, right? Like, I don't know why, but just this whole region in general is small, independently owned coffee shops.
Just wall-to-wall coffee shops. You can't buy anything else, just coffee.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I like to go shop at Independence for everything when I can. Twig Taco disagrees. Well, what's your ranking? Taco, come on. Pret a Manger is clearly the best. So I won't hear
Post your
anything
wrong
else.
ranking.
Costa's clearly the worst.
Wait, what's the name of the? What's the Manger?
Pret a Manger. Like, it's just it's like.
He's a Français.
Doesn't that mean chew?
No, it means like.
What? No.
Manger. Doesn't that mean like masticate?
To eat.
It means to eat. To eat.
It means to eat. Okay.
Yeah. It's good. It's also the cheapest for coffee. Like an Americano, that is only £2, which is nice. And they never burn the fucking espresso, which I've yet to have a coffee at Costa Coffee where they don't fucking burn it. Pisses me off. And sometimes in Pret a Manger, right? I've had it where I'm in a bad mood. Like,
Let's be honest. Coffee tastes
give you-
burnt anyway, even if done right.
No, not true. But I've had it where
You're very wrong, Greg.
they've given me my coffee for free just because I've looked in a bad mood a couple of times, which is nice.
Oh wow, what's your bad mood like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. But I've just been in there. I've had a hard day at work, and I've gone to buy for my coffee, and he's like, it's on us this time. So, I mean, that cheers yours.
Did
like
he
£2.
wink?
The guy didn't. There was a girl once, and I mean, can't blame her at this point.
I've never had that happen to me, and I've had bad days aplenty.
Well, none of us look like Nick over here,
Exactly.
Yep.
King of the British Isles.
It's true. Sorry you had a rough day. Here's your free coffee. Is that what life is like?
That's what life
When
is
you're
like being a white
popular?
male. People just give you free coffee.
It's actually true. Yeah.
Wow.
This is my problem. Is I don't drink coffee. I've missed out on my perks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just have to go into the nicer coffee places because they'll often let you take free samples, right? You can like, oh yes, let us make 3 samples for you really fast. You drink all 3 because that's free coffee, and then you go, and then you walk out. There you go.
Is that
Free
Oh
coffee.
my god. Ooh. Okay.
No, don't actually do that. It's kind of dickish, but. Oh, I did want to say, going back to television really fast, America will never make a better TV show than the original Wipeout. Changed my mind.
The original what?
Wipeout.
Wipeout. Oh my god.
No, because the Japanese already did it better. It's called, the
Takeshi's
Americans.
Castle.
Oh, you're thinking of
crossed over and
Takeshi's
called
Castle?
Yep.
They called it Most Extreme Challenge, but it was just redubbed Japanese. I don't know what the original show was.
Probably Takeshi's Castle.
It's Wipeout, but like it's Japanese, so it's way more.
I know what show
more
you're talking
everything.
about. Yeah.
Well, we're getting near to the time to wrap up here.
Oh,
Um,
well, I'm sorry.
No, I just felt like there was an appropriate pause for me to bring this up. So if we actually do want to, make this theoretical campaign that we've been talking about happen, maybe we should discuss a start date. I want to propose. I want to propose August 2nd or 9th or 16th as our start.
The 9th would be better for me. I got a lot of shit going on around the 2nd.
Yeah. The 9th would probably be a little bit better for me.
It is the day after my birthday. I'll probably be hungover, but if we're just doing character creation, should be fine.
Sure. Yeah, and it'll be in the evening for you, so.
Yeah. Be all right.
Okay. Greg, how's the 9th?
Play
some D&D
as far
on the
as I
9th,
can
man?
tell, I'm doing good.
Yeah, cool. Faye, do you want to play some D&D on the 9th?
Are you going to tell me beforehand what your, imaginary plot hook is and what
I
we're
told
allowed
you
to
we're
play?
going to just fucking wing that shit, man. Whatever you want.
I can play whatever I want.
Okay, you're making me feel very uncomfortable here.
Okay, well, exactly. So you're going to send me the stipulations of what I'm allowed to play, and then,
You know what? No, fuck it. I trust you. Whatever you want. You want to play a mouse sorcerer that rides around on Greg's shoulder, like living in his hair and casting spells from behind it?
No, we're not doing fucking mouse campaign. Jesus.
I am playing mouse guard, right?
Did not wait 3
recommend.
years.
Hold on, wait. He's giving us free reign, guys. We have a free reign, a Minotaur campaign.
No.
Oh.
You're killing me.
Wouldn't it be amazing if I went on this show and then Nick kills me in the very first session because I'm playing a mouse and I'm like, okay, boys, I'm out of here. That's it.
Accidentally stuck a mouse. All right, I'm playing a cat sorcerer.
All right, well, we'll check back in with Fate later. I'll check in with Ryan next time I see him. But let's tentatively say the 9th.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I feel like I didn't do my job today. We talked about politics and diseases and like
Murdering
fascism
people?
and murdering people.
I do
and then,
enjoy
like,
talking about murdering people,
television
though.
shows.
I've enjoyed
I
today.
didn't
had
give
quite
you
a good
any
flow.
D&D topics. I feel like I failed. I'm
No,
sorry.
but I think today was actually fun. We didn't need a topic,
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah.
We were successful in not doing stupid shit or doing the appropriate amount of stupid shit and not the
Good.
inappropriate stupid shit, I think.
Good.
Right? I think this
Top
was a
chit chat.
successful-
I had a good chit chat.
Yeah,
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
I had a good time.
cool. Probably because Ryan wasn't here. I was
Fucking
fucking it
Ryan.
up, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's funny because Ryan is not here and nobody's talked about Final Fantasy all evening. Like,
Sean did mention it. Or Wheel.
Hey,
did
should we
mention
talk
it,
about the
yeah.
Wheel of Time real quick?
All right, everybody. Chit Chat's been great. We will see you guys maybe on the 9th of August for some Dungeons and Dragons, but we're going to head out now.
All right.
So, any final
See you
words before we
later.
go?
go watch some stand-up comedians. Support
yeah.
your small-time coffee people.
Yeah.
You don't have to make the camera focus. No one can see you.
But I can see myself, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous when I go blurry. It makes me think I disappear, actually. So,
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. It's been fun.
Goodbye.
Bye.